The new Black World Order TV Productions. Uh-huh. Chopper. Grand Rising family, what's happening? We want to talk about the ballot, right? Voting. We also want to talk about or the bullet revolution. We're having a difficult time here in America with the government, the city officials, the police departments, uh, regular old vigilante white conservative citizens attacking Black America. Can we solve this problem by voting the ballot, right? Or can we solve this problem by the bullet and revolution? I want to make this quite simple. I want to use an analogy, two of them. One that can be thought about right in the present, or one that can be thought about in the past. So let's start with in the past. When the founding fathers of this country had problems, right, with their adversaries, the British, did they choose the bullet voting, or did they choose the bullet revolution? That's the question. In a modern sense, if you were in jail and you just came into the cell and you went to the chow hall and you're eating your breakfast and a guy walks up and he sticks his hand in your food, he says, "Can I have this?" You don't say anything. Your silence is consent. Okay? When we get to lunchtime, here comes the same guy again with the same finger, and he does the same exact thing. This has happened at breakfast, now it's happening at lunch, and you don't say a thing again. Your consent of silence has sealed your fate, because at dinner time, he's going to come back again. Now, either you're going to vote or you're going to revote the ballot or the bullet. We have tried our best at the ballot. We have elected officials. We have went to town hall meetings. We have went to city council. We have went before congressional and Senate hearings on this. And nobody seems to hear the cry of justice for the Negro. Our parents, with the best knowledge that they had, told us to go to the ballot. We began voting. Here we are decades and decades since then. We're still being killed. We're still not receiving any justice in the lily white courts of America, nor are we receiving any justice in the voting system. Well, if the bullet and revolution was the solution for the American colonists against British, why don't the American Negro think that this is the solution for him? You are told that government derives its power by way of consent. This is what you're told. So when you don't say anything, after they murder a man on video that they put in handcuffs, they put the man in handcuffs before they choke the life out of him. And we're going to remain silent like the person in jail that the man stuck his finger in his food? Why don't you cut that damn finger off? Why don't you chop that hand off at the wrist or cut it off at the elbow? And I bet you he will not stick his hand in your food again. The solution to the American Negro problem, is it the ballot or is it the bullet? This is what you're going to have to answer the question with deep within the soul of the Black American nation. Will you continue to accept the results of voting while ignoring the historical results of the bullet and revolution. America is enjoying a freedom to kill black people because they chose the bullet over the ballot. Then I think it's high time for the so-called American Negro to choose the right to discard voting and choose revolution to solve its problems. It is the American way. When you were in school, America taught you how they solved their problems between the British. They did not solve it with voting. They did not solve it with the ballot. They solved it with the bullet. See, because sometimes that's only what some men understand. So the answer for the so-called American Negro must be derived and pulled up from the soul of their own being. And they must make a decision whether or not they're going to continue to accept the injustice that is meted out them on a day-to-day basis. When is the so-called Negro going to follow the successful methods of histories of other people? They chose the bullet rather than to sit around and vote and wait on worthless politicians to solve their problems. The so-called American Negro must come to the consensus that he must offer his body as a sacrifice for the future of his people. And in the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, so what? If 1 million of us die and sacrifice our bodies on the altar of justice so that the rest of us could be free.